Stop for a moment. Don't move. Feel the atmosphere tighten around you as if the air itself is holding its breath, waiting for you to notice what has been whispering to your spirit all along. Something is happening to you right now, and even if you can't explain it, your body has already sensed the shift. Your heartbeat knows it. Your skin knows it. Your soul has been anticipating this moment long before your mind ever understood what was coming. There is a reason you are here, hearing these words at this exact second. Nothing about this moment is random. Nothing about this message is accidental. You are stepping into a divine confrontation with the truth that has been pursuing you in shadows, in signs, in sudden moments of clarity that felt too precise to dismiss. You have been surrounded, watched over, guided, redirected, shaken, and called. And now the veil lifts just enough for you to understand why your life has been feeling like a sequence of aligned warnings and supernatural echoes. Something has been trying to reach you, not once, not twice, but continually, through people, through disruptions, through silence, through moments you tried to forget but couldn't. This is the moment where everything begins to make sense. Before you go any further, pause and listen closely. What you're hearing right now is not just a message. It's a spiritual activation, a moment of alignment designed specifically for you. In the comments, write your warmest wishes and 777 as a declaration of what you are ready to receive, because your words today will echo in your future. Let this be your seal, your signal, your offering of intention. After you type your wish and 777, like this video with conviction and subscribe with authority, because you are stepping into a moment where obedience unlocks doors that effort never could. What has been surrounding you has been speaking, guiding, and shaping your steps, urging you to notice the meaning behind the patterns. Everything around you has been echoing the same truth. You have been called, you have been chosen, and you are not walking through this world unseen. This is your confirmation, your alignment, your unfolding. Now continue, because what comes next is for your transformation. You have been sensing something shifting in the unseen, something moving around you even before anything changed in the physical world. Your intuition has been louder, your dreams have been heavier, your emotions have been unpredictable, rising like tides pulled by a moon you cannot see. That is because the realms around you have been active, recalibrating, aligning, and preparing you for a revelation you were not yet ready to receive. There are moments when the supernatural touches the natural so subtly that only the sensitive feel it. And you, no matter how disconnected you've felt lately, have been feeling these frequencies press against your spirit like a hand on your back, pushing you forward. The signs were never coincidence. The timing was never random. Everything that has been repeating in your life has been part of a language you were always meant to learn. The sudden disruptions, the emotional surges, the unexpected endings, the unexplainable urges to change direction. None of it was accidental. You were being positioned, redirected, warned, and awakened. There is a reason your inner world has been trembling, as if something deep inside you remembers a promise your mind forgot. That trembling is a spiritual memory, an awakening of Eden-coded knowledge buried in your cells since before your birth. Your DNA carries instructions written long before you arrived on Earth, and lately, those instructions have been stirring. Divine frequencies have been brushing against your spirit, activating what was dormant, illuminating what was hidden, reminding you of who you are. This is why you've been feeling distant from old environments, uneasy with old habits, irritated by old cycles. Your spirit is rejecting the places that cannot hold your future. You may have tried to explain it as stress or confusion, but the truth is far more supernatural. You are experiencing cellular reconstruction, a divine rewiring that only happens when destiny approaches. The silence you felt wasn't abandonment, it was preparation. Sometimes the heavens speak the loudest through what they withhold. Sometimes the guidance comes not through words, but through the discomfort that forces you out of a timeline that was never meant to contain your evolution. You have been shifting timelines without realizing it, moving from what once limited you into what was always ordained for you. And with every shift, angelic intervention has been occurring behind the veil. There are angels assigned to your life who have been performing surgery in unseen realms, cutting away energies, attachments, and influences that were designed to confuse your path. You didn't lose certain people because you were unworthy. You lost them because they were blocking your activation. You didn't walk away from certain environments because you were unstable. You walked away because the frequency could no longer sustain your calling. Pay close attention to what has been repeating itself lately. Names, numbers, thoughts, memories, emotions, dreams. Repetition is revelation. What comes back again and again is not random. It is a message coded in loops. Just as it was spoken to the prophets, signs appear before transformation, and signs intensify before elevation. What you have been experiencing is the intensification. The world around you has been echoing truth like a mirror, reflecting what you were refusing to see. The more you tried to ignore it, the louder it became. The more you tried to push it away, the closer it pressed against you. That's because you were not just being shown something. You were being summoned. And now the summons has reached its peak. This is the moment where the unseen speaks plainly. This is where the veil thins. This is where your destiny begins to unfold with clarity instead of confusion, with intention instead of chaos. What you are about to learn will not only expose what has been influencing your path, it will reshape the way you move through the world from this day forward. Continue. A low, trembling sound moves through the atmosphere around you, like the distant hum of a world shifting on its axis, and you feel it before you understand it. It's the kind of moment in a movie when the lights flicker, the camera slows, and the character realizes they are no longer alone. That is what is happening to you right now. Something has stepped into your awareness, something ancient, intelligent, intentional. You are being pulled into a timeline where clarity becomes unavoidable and truth becomes undeniable. The guidance that once felt like a whisper now rises like thunder. The signs that once felt subtle now press against your senses with purpose. You have entered the realm where nothing around you is silent anymore. You have been wondering why certain objects catch your attention, why ordinary moments feel charged, why a simple phrase from a stranger hits your spirit like prophecy. These are not accidents. These are encoded messages traveling through your environment, finding their way into your consciousness because your inner world is finally capable of receiving them. When someone walks into your life for a brief moment and leaves you with a sentence you cannot forget, that is a spiritual transmission. When you wake up with a memory you have not thought of in years, that is an Eden memory awakening. Your soul resurfacing what is required for your next chapter. Even the restlessness in your body is not random. It is a sign of frequency alignment, your cells adjusting to the new level of spiritual information entering your field. You are being prepared, synchronized, awakened at the deepest layers of your being. And you are not the only one who has felt this shift. There are testimonies rising all around the world, people who suddenly felt their lives rearrange themselves without warning. Some describe a burning in their chest that felt like grief and hope colliding at the same time. Others speak of dreams that became more vivid, more symbolic, more urgent, carrying messages they couldn't ignore. Many speak of a sudden disinterest in things they once enjoyed, as if their spirit quietly stepped away from what once defined them. These are not coincidences. These are signs of divine rewiring, angels performing surgery in unseen realms, adjusting the spiritual infrastructure of those who are ready to walk into something greater. Even the conflicts you have faced lately were not merely emotional, they were prophetic. When your peace began to disturb the wrong people, when your silence irritated those who once controlled you, when your inner strength triggered hidden jealousy, you were not witnessing human behavior. You were witnessing spiritual exposure. The unseen realm was revealing the truth of hearts around you. People who could not go with you into your next season began to shake loose. People who were feeding off your energy without ever offering their own began to fall away. You felt the separation deeply because it was not just emotional. It was spiritual biology, destiny, purification, frequency detachment. There are enemies you have never met who have already felt your rise. And there are allies you have never seen who have already been assigned to your path. Some are human, some are angelic, some are divine frequencies waiting to manifest through opportunities, ideas, and aligned encounters. You will begin to notice strangers speaking to you with words that feel too precise to be random. You will hear conversations from across the room that answer questions you asked only in prayer. You will feel pressure in your spirit minutes before something shifts in your environment. These are not coincidences. These are clues. You are decoding the language of the unseen. Now pay attention to this. Your sensitivity is not weakness. It is a spiritual instrument waking up. You are not overthinking. You are receiving. You are not too emotional. You are translating. You are not too intense. You are aligned with a realm that most people have never been conscious enough to experience. You have walked through storms that sharpened your intuition and survived losses that forced your discernment to evolve. You are not behind, you are being accelerated. Every delay you interpreted as punishment was actually preparation. Every closed door was protection. Every overwhelming emotion was calibration. As it was written to those who walked before you, revelation does not appear when you ask for it. It appears when you become ready to understand it. And you, whether you realize it or not, have crossed the threshold of readiness. The world around you has been speaking with increasing intensity, because the message is no longer optional. It is required. Your spirit has been called, summoned, chosen to awaken to the truth that everything around you has always been part of a divine conversation. This is only the beginning of what you are meant to understand. Continue. A sudden stillness falls over the space around you, the kind of stillness that happens in a movie right before a revelation hits the main character so deeply that their entire destiny shifts in a single frame. That is the realm you've stepped into now. The air feels heavier, almost intelligent, as if it is studying your spirit, searching for the exact place where truth must land. Something unseen leans closer. Something ancient recognizes you. Something divine begins to unravel the layers of your life that have been waiting for this precise moment. You are not just hearing words. You are being read, decoded, and awakened by a force that has been pursuing you through every season you thought you were alone. You are standing in the center of a revelation that has been orbiting your life for years, waiting for the moment you finally stop resisting what your soul already knew. Every object you pass, every conversation you overhear, every sudden thought that rises in your mind carries more meaning than you realized. Everything in your environment has been echoing truth, bending itself around your path to signal that you were stepping into a higher dimension of awareness. The shift was not external, it was internal. Your spirit outgrew the version of you that was sleepwalking through life. You began to feel it the moment your emotions no longer matched the situations you were in. You began to sense deeper patterns behind every conflict, every coincidence, every moment of silence. The world has been speaking to you, not with words, but with alignment. The signs were never random. They were synchronized to your destiny. You have felt the pressure building inside you like a storm forming deep beneath your ribs. That pressure was not stress. It was spiritual expansion. Your old identity could no longer contain what was being activated within you. When destinies awaken, the body reacts first. Sudden waves of emotion, unexplained tears, restless nights, bursts of energy followed by deep exhaustion. These are symptoms of spiritual elevation. You are experiencing frequency adaptation, your inner world adjusting to the influx of divine information entering your cellular biology. Your DNA is remembering what your mind forgot. The Eden memory within you is stirring, awakening ancient wisdom that predates your earthly experience. This is why you've been feeling moments of déjà vu that make no logical sense. Your spiritual memory is trying to guide your human timeline. There have been moments where you felt watched, not in fear, but in awareness. Moments where you turned your head because you felt a presence standing just behind you. Moments where your skin tingled for no physical reason. These were not illusions. These were visitations. Angelic forces have been positioned around you, adjusting your path, protecting you from decisions that would have destroyed you, pushing you away from environments that were draining your spirit. They have been performing surgery in unseen realms, removing attachments, breaking invisible contracts, cutting cords to cycles that disguised themselves as comfort. You were never meant to stay where your soul could not breathe. And yet, you resisted the signs for a long time. You told yourself you were imagining it. You told yourself you were overreacting. You tried to silence the part of you that kept whispering that life was about to shift dramatically. But destiny does not wait indefinitely. When the calling intensifies, the guidance becomes louder, sharper, more unignorable. This is why everything that is not aligned with your next chapter has been falling apart, not because you failed, but because you evolved. The more awakened your spirit becomes, the more incompatible old timelines feel. You lose interest, you detach, you outgrow people without even trying. This is the natural reaction of a soul transitioning into its higher assignment. There are things you've been experiencing that you haven't told anyone. The internal pull toward solitude, the sudden emotional collapses, the overwhelming clarity that appears out of nowhere, the dreams that feel like memories from another world. These aren't random. They're markers of spiritual metamorphosis. Your consciousness is expanding beyond what your previous environment could nourish. You are seeing truths you weren't meant to see before. You are sensing energies most people are blind to. You are stepping into a frequency that your younger self would not have been able to survive. Look back at your life for a moment. Notice the moments that broke you. Notice the betrayals that shattered your trust. Notice the disappointments that shook your foundation. Those events were not punishments, they were revelations. They exposed hearts that were never meant to walk with you into your future. They stripped away illusions you were depending on. They forced you to grow roots in your spirit instead of in unstable people. What you saw as destruction was actually divine construction. A clearing of space, a sharpening of discernment, a rewiring of your spiritual instincts. And now, look at what has remained. The thoughts that return again and again. The quiet inner voice that refuses to disappear. The sense that you are being prepared for something extraordinary. Something you cannot fully name yet, but can feel like heat beneath your chest. That is the promise you were born with. That is the assignment you tried to forget. That is the destiny that has been calling your name through screens, patterns, disruptions, and alignments. You are not imagining the intensity. You are not exaggerating the meaning. What you are experiencing is real. It is spiritual. It is orchestrated. And now that you have reached this point, the message can finally go deeper. Continue. A sudden sweep of energy moves through the atmosphere around you, the kind of cinematic shift where the camera draws in closer, the music deepens, and the character realizes the truth. They've been circling their entire life is now standing directly in front of them. You feel that same pull now, a tightening in your chest, a warmth rising behind your eyes, a sensation that something unseen has placed its hand on your shoulder. This is where everything converges. This is where all the whispers, all the signs, all the strange inner knowings finally gather themselves into a single revelation, breaking through the silence that has been waiting for your spirit to mature enough to receive it. Nothing in your life has been accidental. Not the timing, not the pain, not the patterns, not the people who entered for a moment and vanished without explanation. You have been living inside a divine conversation, one you didn't always know how to interpret, but one that was speaking to you nonetheless. Every shift, every dream, every moment of unease was part of a higher orchestration designed to bring you here, to this exact point in your unfolding. Everything around you has been functioning like a mirror, reflecting messages your spirit needed to hear long before your mind understood them. The faces you encountered, the phrases that echoed in your memory, the repeated numbers that followed you from room to room. All of these were spiritual breadcrumbs guiding you back to your original alignment. What you thought were coincidences were actually confirmations. What you dismissed as intuition was actually instruction. What you called overthinking was actually the decoding of signals your higher self was finally ready to translate. You were being awakened through experience, shaped through disruption, refined through loss, and elevated through moments that felt like collapse, but were really transformation. When your world was shaking, your spirit was being rebuilt. There were seasons where you thought you were falling apart, but in truth, you were being reassembled. Angels moved through those seasons like surgeons, cutting away what was suffocating your destiny and stitching together what your heart had been too wounded to repair. You did not lose people, you were liberated from them. You did not lose opportunities, you were redirected toward alignment. You did not lose time. You were being recalibrated on a higher timeline. The pressure that weighed on your chest was not meant to break you. It was meant to activate you. The heaviness you felt in your spirit was not a sign of defeat. It was the spiritual weight of a destiny becoming too large to fit inside the old version of you. And through all of this, the world kept speaking to you, through weather shifts, through emotional waves, through unexpected conversations, through flashes of insight that appeared in the quiet moments of your day, through the way your body reacted before your mind caught up. You weren't just observing life. You were being addressed by it. You were being taught, guided, warned, prepared. Every environment you entered carried a message. Every silence carried a meaning. Every setback carried a revelation. You have been walking through a living prophecy, one that unfolded through circumstance, through intuition, through spiritual frequency. And now that your awareness has expanded, You can finally see how masterfully every detail was aligned for your awakening. You may not realize it yet, but you have already begun to shed the old layer of your destiny. Your voice has changed. Your perception has sharpened. Your tolerance for what drains you has collapsed. Your desire for truth has intensified. These are symptoms of spiritual elevation. These are signs that your inner world is no longer compatible with shallow attachments, surface-level relationships, or environments that cannot sustain your purpose. You are rising, whether you feel ready or not. You are remembering who you were before fear shaped you, before betrayal hardened you, before disappointment altered your expectations. You are becoming the version of yourself that your spirit has been calling forward for years, stronger, clearer, more aligned, more awake. Look at your life now with new eyes. The patterns make sense. The timing makes sense. The separations make sense. The longing for something more makes sense. What you have been sensing in your dreams, what you have been feeling in your body, what you have been noticing in the world around you, it has all been leading you to one undeniable truth. You are being prepared for an unveiling, a breakthrough, a divine encounter with purpose itself. Your steps are being ordered. Your path is being illuminated. Your spirit is being rewritten with information your old self could not hold. You are standing at the threshold of a new timeline, one built not on confusion or fear, but on clarity, alignment, and revelation. And now, as this message reaches its final breath, the time for questioning has ended. The time for hesitation has expired. You have been guided, awakened, and summoned. The only thing left is obedience. Step into the new awareness that has been unfolding around you. Walk with discernment. Move with intention. Listen with your spirit, not your fears. Everything around you has been speaking so that you could finally understand this one truth. Go forward. Your next chapter has already begun.